Strength in the silence found through screens and codes we mend, oh yeah. This Christmas, as we share a laugh and cheer, we'll stand together hand in hand, my friend. This Christmas, protect our world, unite the fight. In this season we shine so bright. In each password that we choose lies the safety that we build, oh yeah. This Christmas, as we log in side by side, together we'll keep our hopes fulfilled, my friend. This Christmas, guard our data, keep it tight. In this season we protect what's right. And every click we strive to thrive as we learn together, feel alive, oh yeah. This Christmas, every lesson we prepare to keep our connections and hearts laid bare, my friend. This Christmas, secure our souls a joyful sight. In this season we hold on tight. This Christmas, our fires glow, the screens warm light. Together we'll watch, protect through the night, oh yeah. This Christmas, with knowledge wrapped in love and care, we'll guard our future, always be aware, my friend. This Christmas, together we'll conquer. Joyful heart I hold dear. Value the lessons we learn in this season's brighter. As the snow softly falls, we gather around the cause. With screens of all will protect our homes from the dangers that lurk in the digital storm. Stay sharp and be wise in this holiday surprise. Cybersecurity's our gift, keeping our spirits high. With passwords secure and two-factor on hand, we'll navigate safely through this wonderful land. So let's share the news of the protections we choose in the season of giving. Knowledge is what we use. Plug them the rope into fire officers for the living that the war can have.
Welcome to the weekly Cybersecurity Briefing. In the interest of making the best of everyone's time, cybersecurity briefings are always kept to 15 minutes. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat and they will be answered after the briefing. Without any further ado, here is your host, Ron Trotto.
Well, it's Friday. It's 10 a.m. Here we are once again at our cybersecurity briefing. Welcome to the briefing for December 13th, 2024. Well, we are just two weeks away and change from the end of the year. I cannot believe this year has moved so quickly. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. If you haven't seen us since, we're going to take a little departure, if you will, entertain me. We're still going to keep it to 15 minutes or less, but we're going to take a slight departure. We're going to have a little discussion, CEO to CEO or small business owner to small business owner. Titles are not important. What we do is essentially the same. What are we going to be talking about? Well, a little bit of a Christmas wish on my part, if you will. First, though, I would like to start with a little bit of gratitude. This year, I got out in front of over 1,100 small business owners in person through various speaking engagements. And I want to thank you so much because our mission is to educate small businesses on technology, especially now with cyber crap happening all over the place all the time. It is important to me that I at least raise some awareness about what is going on so that small businesses aren't T-boned. They aren't in danger as much as just not knowing anything. So I want to thank you so much for that. I also want to take the opportunity to wish you and your family and your employees and their families and your vendors and their families a wonderful it's 10 a.m. It's Friday morning, December 20th, 2024. It must be time for the cybersecurity briefing where we cover a specific topic in 15 minutes or less. So today's topic is it worth it to have my employees go through training? Is it worth the effort and the time? Now, you probably are going to ask, let's define what that time is. Typically, if you're doing an annual training, it's a 45-minute investment of your employees' time to go through a video, and let's just round it up to an hour. All right. It's an hour of time to go through a video and a quick quiz. Most of the platforms that do cybersecurity training are very similar, but that's the bare minimum. Let's take what a good cybersecurity posture looks like, and that is at least weekly training, where you're going to spend 10 to 15 minutes a week doing training on top of the hour annual master training that you'll do. Now, 15 minutes a week sounds maybe like a lot. And for most people and most platforms, it doesn't have to be 15. I'm just rounding up tremendously to even show at a 15-minute spoiler alert, 15-minute training a week plus an hour a year, it's still completely worth it. Again, spoiler alert. But that's my opinion. I want to make sure that you are armed with the necessary information to come to that, hopefully, come to that same conclusion. So we've talked multiple times about what breaches look like. When you have an absolute full scale, something happened, incident now becomes a breach, information's left the building, someone's had access to information in the building, we have a breach. So we have to do all the reporting and whatnot. And we know bare minimum that starts for a small business around $45,000. More typically, it's $150,000 to $200,000, but let's just say it's $45,000 as our number. So when we look at, and again, this year was no different. Year after year, we're looking at the same stats almost. How do these events begin? And almost all of these events, the vast majority of events, start with a business email compromise, a BEC. BEC just means that a bad actor has gained access to someone's email system, or hopefully not administrative rights into that email system. Why would they want to do that? Well, let's take a look at our businesses for just a moment. Let's just step back and look at what we do. Most businesses use email as a very vital component of how they transact business, either with clients or their vendors. Obviously, if you're maybe a little hot dog stand or something that really doesn't have an online web presence, you may not have a lot of client interaction through email, but you certainly do have interaction with your banks, you have interaction with your vendors. So email is of this vital component of nearly every small business. That's why they're going after it. And by getting into email, they can gain access or additional footholds inside the environment pretty easy through additional social engineering. How does that work? Well, they can get into your email and they can get, let's say, into the CEO's email or the president or the owner's email, and then they can send emails to other people inside of the company, perhaps maybe when the owner or CEO is on vacation or on a plane, to do certain things for them that they forgot while they were going away. These are scenarios in which that's leveraged internally to either gain additional access or just to get money wire transferred outside the company. Traditionally we saw this as gift cards, right? So you'd see, please, I'm at this client. Please make sure that we get two $50 gift cards. Can you run out and get those? Send me the numbers. I'll give them to the client. I want to give them a gift. It sounds ridiculous, but there's a reason why that campaign still exists to this day, even with all of the education that has been done. Obviously, it hasn't been done enough because we still have people falling for this same social engineering hack, which sounds, again, absolutely ridiculous, but they wouldn't be after it continually if it didn't work. So, there in itself is a pretty strong argument for training, because cybersecurity training trains on the ability or improving the ability to identify things that are social engineering hacks, how to look at your email and make sure that, well, it's coming from who it says it's coming, but you're actually always thinking a little bit defensively in the back of your mind saying, well, this is legitimate in that it's coming from the person I think it's coming from, but it doesn't sound like that person. It's either not in their voice, or it's not something that they would ask, or we've never gotten this kind of discount before, or I really should probably verify, pick up the phone and verify, not through anything that's inside of that email, but to actually go to your Rolodex if you have one, or your online contact, and physically call that company and make sure that that wire transfer information change request is correct. By having these policies in place, it really prevents a lot of heartache for everyone involved. And most importantly, though, it's the ability to identify these things before they become a real problem. And that's where the cybersecurity training kind of comes into play. Now, how much time do we spend on cybersecurity training? Well, the lowest bar of entry for most platforms is a single education every year. So, an annual education of approximately an hour, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but let's just call it an hour, where they're going to go through some type of video or exercises and then have some type of quiz to confirm that they have at least taken away some knowledge from that training. We recommend a little bit more than that. We recommend that training is done weekly, not in an hour, but just a few minutes. Our platform calls these micro trainings that we use. Those micro trainings are important to constantly reinforce the skill set required, right? To identify. It also gives them the ability to put in front of them some current scams that are hot, that are being used a lot, so that they're able to recognize those a little bit more readily than what having that one time a year annual that might miss this specific thing that's going on. So that's what we recommend. So you're talking 15 minutes a week at most, probably more like 5 minutes a week for those that could hop on a 2-minute video and answer a question or two. That's the format of our micro trainings, most of them. You're talking 5 minutes for most people who struggle with that type of stuff. Let's just say 15 minutes. So if we're doing 15 minutes a week plus an hour, you can math that, and you can figure out what that's going to cost your company, as opposed to a cybersecurity event, which is not inexpensive. So is it worth it? I would hope you would think it's worth it. I would hope that, and here's the other thing I want to get to. It's not just a matter of requiring employees to take the training and participate in it. You really need to have management leading the charge in this one. The management needs to reinforce how important this is. And also, part of that education is phishing exercises. So most of our clients get hit once or twice a month by us and our platforms with a fake email, testing their skill set to identify that email and to just delete it and not do anything with it, or super gold star if people actually report in that this is a phishing email. Does that take time on our side? You betcha it does. It takes a lot of time, but it is time. In my opinion, it is time that is more than well worth it, because we are building that skill set, which really takes down that first line of defense, is just building up and taking down the probability that the bad actors are going to be able to gain access to the system, because we really don't want to have that. Once they're in, some of our tools can identify where people are coming from and do some preventative measures. But if they've gained access, even for a moment, the damage that they can do is substantial. And if your environment isn't correctly configured, I'm going to throw Microsoft out there. If they gain access to a Microsoft environment and that environment was never correctly configured, it is possible that they can get themselves a foothold inside of that environment, or it's going to be hard, if not impossible, for the average user to recognize that there is still a foothold inside of that environment that can be essentially just used again at a future date to get right back in to the environment. So these are things that are core, and is why we want to train our employees on how to recognize those threats and just really raise the defenses, lower the probability of people getting into the way that is most often used. So I hope that you get a pretty good sense of why it's important to make that investment. Again, I can't handle your risk for you, but I can show you the numbers. And I hope if you work out those numbers, it looks like some of the cheapest insurance policy that you can purchase these days against having an event. Because really, at the end of the day, we're protecting against the invisible, right? There's no guy that's going to be, coming through the door and taking stuff from your office in these matters. These are mostly foreign bad actors. They're not going to be coming through the door. These are invisible threats that we need to protect against through education and training. And that's how we do that. So it's kind of related to insurance, right? You just don't need insurance until you need insurance. It's the same thing with this. However, I would like to say that these skill sets that they're taught will also improve their productivity a little bit and protect the bank account a little bit in the event of like a wire transfer or, God forbid, a gift card transfer, etc. So I hope that I've been able to shed some light on this. We're coming up on 14 minutes. Just want to keep it to our 15. Again, if you have any questions, please stick them in the chat, and I will be happy to answer them. We do our Q&A every week, and if you happen to get it in after we conclude, just follow up. I will definitely tag you with an answer. Aside from that, we will have a show next week that's December 27th, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas between now and then, but hopefully we'll see you next week. And let me see if we have any questions coming in. Oh, let's see. Resources for training. All right. So thank you for asking. So we had a question about resources for training. We offer, if you're not a client, the training is mandatory. We don't let anyone get away with that kind of bad decision, but all of our clients have training required. If you would like to apply, we have our 2025 cybersecurity training grant that offers the annual training. We don't do the micro training or the fish testing for that, but we do offer an annual training. It's kind of the low point of entry. Just apply for the grant program, and we do offer that for free in most cases. We do have to have a quick talk if you're over 10 users, just to make sure that that the low bar training is acceptable. We want to make sure that compliance wise your needs are met, and that just risk wise that the needs are met. So if you have the need to get some training, we can put that down below. We do offer full training as well with the micro. Just reach out to us, contact, we'll get together some pricing on that. And the I'll also throw into the chat some other links of training that you can get. Before there's a few others that are escaping me at the moment. A lot of the training platforms that I'm exposed to are ones that you can't get to directly. They're more like education platforms. So, but there are some publicly available training platforms that do have the whole enchilada in them. If you do not want to go through a provider for that. But thanks again for asking. Let me see if there's anything else. It looks like we are good. All right. Well, once again, Merry Christmas to everyone that celebrates. We will see you again next week for our cybersecurity briefing at 10 a.m. on December 27th. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.